In August 2025, malware inside a popular NPM package didn't hunt for secrets itself. It opened the victim's own AI coding agent, switched its permission prompts off with one flag, dangerously skipped permissions, and told it to do the hunting. That worked hundreds of times. And most of us are in the blast radius. 84% of developers use or plan to use these tools. That's the 2025 Stack Overflow survey, and 66% name the same top frustration, code that's almost right but not quite. Both problems come from the same place. Your repo setup decides whether the agent guesses, and what it can do when it guesses wrong. Let's set it up properly. Because here's what happens in a repo with no instructions. Every single session, the agent has to rederive your conventions from scratch, and where it can't derive, it guesses. So it installs with the wrong package manager, runs a test command that doesn't exist, invents a folder structure you've never used. It isn't being dumb, it's guessing plausibly because your repo never told it the things it couldn't derive. And that's just the expensive failure mode. The dangerous one is an agent that's allowed to do anything. So your setup has two jobs: give the agent the context it can't guess, and draw the lines it can't cross. The obvious fix is to document everything. Write a giant Claude.md, the whole file tree, every dependency, an essay on the architecture, 900 lines of it. Except that instinct backfires, and there's research showing exactly why. A 2025 study called Context Rot ran 18 language models and found the same shape everywhere. As the input gets longer, performance drops, even on simple tasks. Models don't process the 10,000th token like the 100th. One result says it all. On a long memory benchmark, a focused prompt of about 300 tokens significantly beat a full context of roughly 113,000 tokens on the same questions. The short version won. And Anthropic says it flat out in their own docs. Bloated Claude.md files cause Claude to ignore your actual instructions. The more you write, the less it follows. So why does more documentation make things worse? Because you're treating this file like documentation. And it isn't. Claude.md isn't documentation, it's a prompt that shits with your repo. Once you see it that way, every rule about writing it follows on its own. And mechanically, that's literally what it is. Claude Code injects Claude.md into the context window at the start of every session, as a user message right after the system prompt, and it spends your tokens on every single request. So what earns a place in a prompt? Only what the agent can't guess, exact build and test commands, conventions that differ from defaults, the gotchas, and how your team handles branches and PRs. Everything the agent can derive by reading code stays out. Anthropic even shipped a tool for this, RunDoctor, and it proposes deleting your directory layouts, dependency lists, and architecture overviews, and keeps the pitfalls, the rationale, the conventions that differ from defaults. The vendor built a tool whose whole job is trimming your docs. The official target is under 200 lines. That's not a style preference. Longer files consume more context and reduce adherence. Attention is a budget, and this file spends it before you've typed a word. Getting started takes 3 commands. One bootstraps a starter file from your repo, one shows you exactly what loaded into the session, and one opens your memory files for editing. You can also split it with imports. An @ path in Claude.md pulls another file in, up to 4 hops deep. But here's the catch. Imported files still load into the context window at launch. Splitting organizes your instructions, it doesn't save you a single token. Meanwhile, the rest of the industry picked a different file name. OpenAI, Google, Cursor, and others converged on agents.mda. It's stewarded under the Linux Foundation now, and its own count says over 60,000 open source projects use it. Claude Code isn't on that list. It reads Claude.md, and only Claude.md. The GitHub issue asking for agents.md support has been open since August 2025, almost a year now. The fix is one line. Make your Claude.md a single import pointing at agents.md, or just symlink one to the other. One file, and every agent on your team reads the same instructions. Codex, by the way, reads agents.md natively, nested files, closest one wins, and it hardcaps the combined content at 32 kilobytes. 2 vendors, 2 mechanisms, 1 lesson, short wins. One thing this file will never do is enforce anything. The docs are explicit, Claude treats it as context, not enforced configuration. It's advice the agent usually follows, not a rule it can't break. Enforcement starts in settings.json and it's layered, yours, the project's committed, so the whole team shares it. A local one-get ignores and a managed layer IT can lock. Those layers share one evaluation order. Deny, then ask, then allow, and a deny from any layer blocks the action, even when another layer allows it. Deny always wins, and a deny rule can't carry exceptions. The rules themselves are simple patterns. Allow your test command by prefix. Deny reads on your NV files and your secrets folder. That deny block is the doc's own recipe. It's the first thing worth committing. Now the honest part, those deny rules stop Claude's own file tools and the file commands it recognizes in Bash. They don't stop a Python script that opens the file itself. An OS-level guarantee needs something stronger. That's the sandbox, and it's opt-in, real operating system enforcement wrapped around every Bash command and everything those commands spawn. But read the defaults before you relax. It limits writes to your project, while reads still cover your whole disk, including your SSH keys and cloud credentials, until you configure credential protection. Sandbox on does not mean secret safe. Hooks are the opposite of Claude.md, your own scripts at fixed points in the agent's loop. Session start, pre-tool use, post-tool use, stop, deterministic, and enforced. A pre-tool use hook that exits with code 2 blocks the action, and its message feeds back so Claude can adjust. And here's the fact that should recalibrate you. A pre-tool use deny blocks the tool even under dangerously skip permissions. Hooks can tighten the rules. They can never loosen them. Use hooks for what must happen every time, 0 exceptions. And respect what they are. Arbitrary shell commands a repo can ship in its settings file, which is exactly why project hooks wait behind the trust dialog. / commands are the cheapest win here. Any prompt you keep retyping becomes a markdown file in your repo, and the file name becomes the command. Skills fix the token problem from earlier, only the name and description sit in context, and the full body loads when it's actually used. So when a section of Claude.md grows into a procedure, this is where it moves. Subagents are separate workers with their own context window. The messy exploration happens over there. Only the answer comes back to yours. They double as a guardrail. You pick each one's tools, so a read-only researcher simply can't edit files. But skip them for quick back-and-forth work. They start fresh, and fresh costs latency. Last one, MCP servers plug the agent into live systems, your issue tracker, your database. Project servers live in a file you commit, and Claude asks before trusting anything a repo ships. Just don't reach for one when a command line tool already does the job. The docs call CLI tools the most context-efficient option, and nobody is auditing these servers for you, Anthropic says so itself. Now zoom out to the rival. By mid-2026, Codex documents almost all of this too. Agents.md against Claude.md, config.toml against settings.json, hooks with the same deny decision, skills on the same open standard, subagents in both. The two tools have quietly converged. What's left of the rivalry is defaults. Codex ships sandbox, first with the network off. Claude Code ships prompt, first with the sandbox opt-in. The file name standoff is the last visible seam. Everything you set up today carries across. Which leaves the part most setup guides skip. Your repo is attack surface now. 3 doors, what the agent reads, what the repo ships, and what runs on your machine. Door 1 is prompt injection. Anything the agent reads can carry instructions. A web page, an issue, a readme. Anthropic lists its protections, then says the quiet part. No system is completely immune. Door 2 used to be wide open. Researchers showed that just cloning a malicious repo could execute its hooks before you ever clicked trust. 2 real CVEs, patched since and the reason the trust dialog got hardened. So that dialog you click through is load-bearing. When it lists what a folder wants to allow, that's the patch talking. Read it. Door 3 is the NPM attack from the top. That malware never broke the permission system. It passed the flag that turns it off, and the victim's own agents did the rest. Wiz counted over 1,000 GitHub tokens, 20,000 files leaked, 5,500 private repos flipped public across more than 400 users and orgs. So harden the doors while it's cheap, deny rules on your secrets, one hook on protected files, the one that holds even under the bypass flag, the sandbox for autonomous runs, and bypass mode never on a repo you don't trust. Now, the honest caveat, this ground moves fast. A shortcut, Anthropic taught in a 2025 blog post, a hash key for saving memories, is already gone from the current docs. So everything you learn here, including this video, verify against the docs before you lean on it. And in practice, a stale Claude.md is worse than none. When the file says yarn but the lock file says PNPM, the docs warn Claude may pick one arbitrarily. A missing file just forces the agent to rederive. A lying file actively misroutes it. One more unknown, since you'll ask which tool is winning. We don't have clean numbers. Vendor claims exist, but comparable, auditable ones don't. If you remember one thing, your repo is part of the prompt now, and part of the perimeter. The markdown asks, the settings and hooks enforce, the sandbox guarantees. 3 commits today, a 20-line Claude.md with your commands and your gotchas, a settings file that denies reads on your secrets, and one hook protecting the files no agent should touch. Start tonight with the deny block. It's one JSON snippet and it works immediately. This was the foundation. Hooks, skills, and subagents each get their own deep dive next. I'm at the AI native engineer.